Destined to win Toastmaster Asmi.
It's all written, they say. Our life's written. My life written like it was some file titled God's favorite library, stacked away in some old library catching dust. Multiple others like mine, some written in gold and some in blood. I believe mine was tweaked a little to make me suffer. Probably my 6th grade Hindi teacher. How many of you have convinced yourself? How many of you have lied to yourself pretending that you were okay just in the moment to not crash and give in? Or like a certain Toastmaster likes to say, how many of you have gaslit your own selves into thinking you were okay? Can I have answers? I knew I wasn't alone. You see, we lie. We all lie to ourselves so much that it becomes our truth, our reality. However, at least I do, a concerning amount. And through all that gaslighting, I have somewhere lost hope. Don't worry, I still say yes to plans that involve food. But my dreams, however, feather by feather, lost their wings until I decided I didn't have to. Greetings, Toastmasters and guests. My name is Asmi, and you probably know me as the girl who sneaks in brownies during meets. But there's a lot that goes behind preparations before the final good is presented to you. And there's a lot that went behind to shape the goal standing on this very stage today. I've always liked to think that I was the overachieving kind. I've always thought I've achieved what I wanted. Sports captain who can't run without twisting a foot anymore. The president, good grades, great debates. I thought I had it all until I didn't. What stream will you choose? Oh, they let you choose, I asked. As I frantically closed tabs on my laptop that's read study international relations at Yale. I asked again, isn't it written, decided, told? I signed my joy away for study modules that read JEE in bold. I created space for myself even though I knew I didn't belong. The graph of my 18 years of existence has always maintained a sort of equilibrium. For every curve that went higher, there was an even lower one. Balance, they say. I've always taken birthdays seriously. I've always loved birthdays. Basking in the glow of cheers and candles, it felt like a pause. The biggest lie of all, because this wasn't the only day where I was the only one lying to myself, thinking I was okay. It was the people around me too, pretending everything was alright just to celebrate me. It felt like the sudden dip right before everything comes crashing down the very next day. It was my 16th birthday, and it had almost been a year I'd lost myself to JEE modules. One more year to go again, I thought. And I forgot my favorite thing in the whole world, my own birthday. I truly wish I was exaggerating, I truly do, because on that very day, I got up, got ready to leave for my coaching center where I imagined professors as clowns, teaching magic and not maths. It made it easier, less real. However, don't worry, I studied well. I scored well. So well, I couldn't even register my own birth date as it reflected on my own phone. I never got to cut my birthday cake. I never got to blow out those candles because I entered home 3 hours before my birthday ended from the institute. Horrified, pretending like I wasn't horrified that I forgot my own existence even after multiple calls and texts from my friends. I enter home and I see tears. Because this was the same kid who would wake up at 6 a.m. pretending to be asleep in bed until 9, just so she could catch her mother tiptoeing towards the room with the biggest smile on her face. Hugs and kisses armed like decorated weapons. loudest happy birthday screamed into her ears. The same kid who spent 1 hour before school collecting birthday wishes like her favorite flowers for a bouquet from all 17 of her family members. Yes, 17. I have a very big family, by the way. This was the same kid who woke up at 5 on the very same day. Face numb, thoughts numb. Formula sheet in one hand, toothbrush in the other, staring blankly at the reopened tab that read Yale. I left before the scent of love could touch me from my home. I left before my mother could tiptoe. And I left before my own thoughts caught up to me to tell me this was no ordinary day. I left. So I enter my home and I see tears. My mother sitting with her head clutched in tears. Why would you not celebrate today? She asked. I paused confused. She held my hand and pointed to a room decorated with balloons on the floor, lights enveloping the door, a huge cake in the middle of my bed on a navy blue sheet, 4 multicolored candles right beside it, and a scent in the air I could only call love. And my family were waiting for me. Happy birthday, they said. I looked back in tears too. Hair messed up because I ran my fingers through them multiple times, thinking of my wasted potential, thinking of what I could have been. Brows scrunched from stress and a bag carrying all the books I traded my soul for. I was asked to change into my favorite clothes. How would I tell my poor mother the last time I was conscious of my own being, the last time I was present and not in my head, the last time I looked into a mirror was a memory I couldn't even remember. Because when I looked, I saw nothing. I saw nothing but wasted potential. When I looked, the reality that reflected back at me, it couldn't be my truth. Wasn't I the overachiever? Wasn't I the girl with gold in her hand ranked first on the podium? Wasn't I the girl who chose her dreams? She was right. This was my reality. Thank you, I said defeated when they wished me again. I managed to never cut my birthday cake that day because I thought I would celebrate again in spirit the very next day. I would dress better. I would gather everybody in spirit. I would celebrate happy again the very next day. I lied to myself again because the very next day I was sat down with reports in my hand that read, your father has a retinal dysfunction in his eye. Your father has his retina torn. The cake stayed in the fridge for another 7 days. On 25th of April, I stabbed a spoon in it as I ate some in tears. I had just come back from clowns teaching me magic again. It was 10 p.m. and I was told my father had a surgery. And the only reason that I wasn't aware was so that I could study better for subjects I did not even like. I stabbed the cake again and I finally closed the tab that read Yale on it. The thing about dreaming big is that when you fall, it hurts. But the thing about giving up on those dreams is that they take you with themselves. For the next 3 months of recovery of my father that followed, each day carried a loss of me. I wondered if he would even remember my face since he couldn't even look at me, since he couldn't even see me. I wondered if an Ivy League would have helped me deal with the regret of choosing myself, of being selfish. It wouldn't. Was this written? What kind of destiny was this to put me through this turmoil? How dare it play with my father's eyesight? How dare it play with my dreams that wasted potential? Was my file empty for a few pages? How could this be written? I lied again. Not to you guys. I would sit with my father every day and lie. I would lie about having the most interesting of days. I would make up the most amazing of stories, so engaging. He wouldn't even remember that he couldn't 20 days of time. And he could see again. That hideous bandage finally came off of his eyes. However, he couldn't recognize me. For I was defeated yet again. I was against my will yet again. But this time I knew I had no hope left. I truly knew in my heart I had lost the battle. For the days that followed after that, I never knew I would stand on this very stage ever again. However, I've always wanted an ideal. I put my blood and soul into it. Even though the border of dream was handed to me, I thought through my own efforts, I could still get in, pursue what I wanted, where I wanted. Who would stop me, right? The trophy child would get shinier with an Ivy League stamp on it. It was a win-win. I gave up. I never applied to the Ivies. I never gave the exams required for it. Every other university I applied to, I got in, but not the Ivies. Toronto's acceptance letter stared back at me as I applied for Thapar, and I saw my reflection for the first time again as I applied for college, as I packed for college. I wanted to leave it all behind. Did I really want to leave it all behind? What about the times when they chanted my name during a match, or when the school was in awe as I spoke as the president? Or what about the times when the hall was silent and the only thing you could hear was my gungaroos as I did Kathak? Or what about the time every art competition had my name on the prize? Surprisingly, I did want to leave it all behind. Was this written? I guess it was. Because every win that I just mentioned right now, I never remembered or felt them as I faced my losses. For every silver I got, I forgot every gold that followed. It is when I sat down to write this very speech that I remember I was all these things despite of what I wasn't. I believe with every single loss that you choose to forget, there is a win that you regret. I wanted years so bad, so I did everything for it. I breathed for it. Every essay so brilliant, every step so calculated, everything so meticulous. You'd think it was my destiny. You'd think it was written for me. And yet, I stood there not even capable to apply. Packing for college was an experience. Thinking of leaving all of my achievements behind, I wanted to start new. I felt so deep that the only thing that got me up was my mother calling me her pride at 2 a.m. And when I did try to get up, I realized I had so much more to lose. So much more. Because in the very week that followed, I got a letter. A letter addressed to the president. And in the most hideous handwriting, it wrote, "Thank you." Let's backtrack it. While I was busy spiraling in my own life, I thought I would attempt to rewrite, or at least rewrite, the lives, the destinies of those that followed worse fate than mine. Through the webs of thoughts I created for myself, there was a single string that followed. When I sat down and I picked 5 schools from my own town of underprivileged kids, whose destinies followed worse fate than mine. I networked my way through countless counseling teams just so they could provide them career counselings and mentorships at a low cost. Consequence of my persistence and subtle guilt-tripping it to possibly deny mentorship to those who really need it. And yes, you can get to professions too. I not only lost sleep over the fact that I was losing myself, but I also spent countless nights drafting contracts just to raise funds to build those dreams. I chaired ME once to add to those own funds from my own pockets, and over a span of a year and a half under my presidency, Kids who couldn't even dream of finishing grade 12 are studying in college as we speak. I build dreams. I could never forget the child in tattered clothes, glistening eyes, who came to me with joined hands and whispered 4 sentences. My father runs a small grocery store. I sit with him and I do all the calculations required to run the store, and I think I'm very good with numbers. If it wasn't for you, I was destined to die in this very shop following the legacy of poverty, not realizing my love for numbers was not an ordinary skill. I never thought I could pursue maths. 2 months later, his sister came running up to me. I couldn't even recognize her face. With a box of sweets, tears in her eyes, she said to me, my brother is studying maths with a scholarship, and what the scholarship wouldn't cover, the funds that you raised did. I built dreams. And multiple others like him who couldn't even recognize their skills and now do. I built dreams. Fulfilled or not, they had dreams. I visited those schools again. And while I was walking in the hallway with one of those principals, she quietly pointed at a frame with 5 newspaper clippings. And each clipping had my name on top of it written in bold. And every newspaper had a picture of all the 5 schools that I covered in K-12. And under multiple paragraphs of appreciation, one line caught my eye. Destined to dream. I never saw hope like that in my own eyes like I saw in theirs. They looked up to me when I couldn't even look at myself. So no, it is not written. Who wrote it anyways? Who has the ink to my book when I hold the pen? Because I will rewrite destiny again and again into the palm of my own hands until I am done with it. For I will choose the battles I lose, and I will choose the battles I win. And the battles I can't have, I will rewrite them again until I do anyways. For winning is not giving up, and I will choose to win every single time. For I will look in the eye of fate and say, God, check